Everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at weather for the next 8 to 10 days. In today's video, this takes us to really the end of November. It takes us to the 29th of November, but pretty much to the end of the month. We're going to be seeing it turning unsettled again next week. We're going to have this cold snap that we've been talking about for quite a few days over the weekend. Next week, I think we'll see a return of the westerlies. And just a few hints as we get through to the end of November. We could start to turn things a bit stormy, perhaps, actually, maybe strengthening the polar vortex a little bit. So we'll have a look at the charts in a moment. Later on today, there'll be the 9th Christmas update on the Christmas updates page. That'll be this evening. This afternoon, also, probably around 5 o'clock, after the 12 o'clock run of the GFS comes out, we'll be doing the latest snow watch, looking at the situation for snowfall over the weekend. There will be some snow around with these northerly winds. So a lot going on today. Keep checking back for all the updates. But before we get on with that, just say about the ads. Link to articles and all the pages, gas outfits, have a browse widgets, and click through the links if there's any articles that you're interested in. And thanks so much for doing that. There's video ads on both pages, which open up with content when you watch them. They'll close back up again. It's all held to pay. The website and the shop is open. So you've got an Christmas shopping to do at Amazon between now and Christmas. Just click through the Amazon banners in the Christmas shop. You get to the Christmas shop by clicking the button that says Christmas shop. It'll take you to the shop, and then from there just click through the Amazon banners. And you have to go off to Amazon and do your Christmas shopping as well. Don't need to do anything else, but because you go from gas office to Amazon, we get a revenue fee on the things that you are purchasing, and thanks very much for doing that. So we're going to start off with 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECWF here on the top, and the GFS is on the bottom of the chart as you're looking at it. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet is there in absolute high pressure, low pressure being moved around by jet stream running above, and blue extrapolates to low pressure with orange and red extrapolating to high pressure. So in a week to 10 days time, both these charts, the ECM and the GFS, are indicating a strengthening of the zonal westerly. So we've got these deep blue colours appearing to the north of the country on both charts. You notice the tight lines as well. That's the jet stream. So the jet stream is increasing here as we go through to the end of November. Again, both of them showing this, that the jet stream is gathering pace with those tight lines coming in. So we've got a deep trough to the north. We've got a strengthening of the jet stream. This does imply a strong, perhaps a very strong westerly flow getting going towards the end of November and starting the new month, starting in December. So I wouldn't be ruling out the chance of some gales or severe gales, perhaps a succession of stormy weather coming along right at the end of the month, because of course we already had couple of storms so far this November in the past week or so, but this could be taking things up another level actually as we get through into the end of the month. These are the GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles over the next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year temperature average, of course. So we've got this cold snap coming up over the weekend that's been well advertised on Gas Weather and on all the other weather websites as well. Starting off quite mild today, but it is turning cooler from the north, and that cold air from the North Pole will be with us as we go through into weekend. But it is a snap because we get through into next week quite quickly. The temperatures start to recover, and then it looks like we're really hovering around the 30-year average. But I think there's a bit of a zonal sine wave setting up here. So we've probably got warmer sectors and colder sectors coming through. And at this time of year, although it appears that averaging it out, we're around average, actually we tend to be a little bit milder than average in a zonal setup. And the reason is because the nights are quite windy, and we restrict the chance of night frost. And you really need night frost to become colder than average at this time of the year. So probably a little bit above average there going through next week and into the end of the month. Also, lots of precipitation coming up, so we've got plenty of rain for the rest of this week. We'll turn a little bit drier with this cold snap over the weekend. Although notice not completely dry, there are precipitation spikes. With temperatures becoming cold, there is a risk of snow in places over the weekend. Be updating Snow Watch later this afternoon. And then as we go through into next week, well, more precipitation coming through, and perhaps a very wet spell setting up for the end of November and into the start of December. That could be a little bit of an Atlantic onslaught getting going for the very end of the month. The temperature anomaly for the coming week looks around average, so we're going to have the cold snap over the weekend. It turns a bit milder next week. So averaging it all out, the 19th to the 27th of November, coming out very close to average, to be honest. The precipitation anomaly is going a little bit drier than average for this week. That's because we've got this cold snap with drier air over weekend. I think these will trend wetter again probably as we go through next week. Here's the generic chart. So this is for GFS for Saturday. There's that northerly wind that's going to bring our first little taste of winter across the country over the weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, both days have winds in from the north. It will be cold on both of the days. We move through into Monday and we start to cut off that northerly already. So we'll have a warm front probably coming across the country during Monday, producing a band of cloud and patchy rain and introducing milder air back in off the Atlantic Ocean. And then that takes us into an unsettled phase as we go into Tuesday, probably bring the band of quite heavy rain across the country. And low pressure is close to the country as we're going through into Wednesday as well. So in case of showers or longer spells of rain. Winds going into the north. It will be coolish in the middle part of next week, but it's not a northerly that's connected to the Arctic at all. So probably near normal temperatures actually with that, but feeling a bit damp and miserable. And then we move through to the end of next week and low pressure begins to sink to the south, becoming a bit cut off, trying to raise pressure to the east. But notice these purple colours beginning to turn up around Greenland and Iceland. That's indicative of a strengthening of the polar vortex. This is what we was looking at on the height anomaly flowcharts. When the purple colours turn up, that's normally a sign we're going to get a bit of a battering. That's very low heights and temperature up to the north, and it usually implies that the polar vortex is getting its act together. So as we move through to day 10, which is Sunday the 29th, actually it's not too stormy, but it is unsettled. We're bringing these areas of low pressure in from the west and northwest. But I'm a little bit concerned about seeing those purple colours starting to appear to the north. Very often a sign that the polar vortex is beginning to work itself up. The CWF is very similar. We bring that milder air around top of the high pressure as we go through into Monday. And then through into next week, we bring these westerlies through. So relatively mild conditions returning through the course of next week, but still unsettled with bands of rain, particularly in the north and the west. That takes us through to the end of next week and on into the final weekend of November, which is 28th, 29th of November. Still bringing these areas of low pressure in from the north and west, so we end up on day 10, still looking very unsettled. There's bands of rain moving through. Again, it's not too stormy at this stage, and actually we don't deliver those purple colours to Greenland on this particular run of the ECMWF as we do with the GFS. So maybe we won't be turning too stormy at the end of the month. But as I said, when those purple colours start to get in across Greenland, it is often a sign that the jet stream is starting to pick up a bit. But anyway, it's very unsettled up to the end of November with bands of rain swinging in across the country. And then finally, the GEM, all very similar, so it turns milder through the start of next week after the weekend cold snap, bringing the westerlies through. This has the high pressure closer to us down to the southwest, so it's not as unsettled as the other two for next week. It's fairly mild though, because the air coming around the top of that high pressure is originating from the central part of the Atlantic. Although by the time we go through to day 10, which is Sunday the 29th, we'll look at that very deep purple colours turning up to the north around Iceland, 940 millibar area of low pressure up there. So very cold and stormy to the north of us, probably signs of a polar vortex gathering pace. Could give us a little bit of a battering perhaps for the end of November and into the start of December. So having this cold snap over the weekend, once that's out the way, we're returning to a westerly flow. I don't think that will be as mild as we've had it through most of November. So near normal temperatures really, perhaps a little bit above average, but not far from average temperatures next week. Quite unsettled at times as well. And then as we go through to the end of the month, maybe just got to think a little bit about the chance of some stormy weather getting going if the polar vortex starts to wind itself up around Greenland and Iceland. There's only a few hints of that at the moment, but when those purple colours appear, as I say, round Greenland and Iceland, it's normally a sign of trouble. So keep you posted on that one. Later on this afternoon, we'll be having a look at Snow Watch, see what the snow could be doing over the weekend. And then this evening, probably around 7 o'clock, something like that, be the latest Christmas update. That's all now, and thanks for watching.